Hello and welcome. I'm Lindsay Crane and these are my retro craft dreams. I love a good vintage craft gadget and I have explored a couple of them here on this channel so far, and I have a few more in my collection that I'm going to eventually have a look at. But more than craft gadgets, there are also craft toys, and I do have a couple of those, including one that when I learned about it, I had to have it right away. This is Needlepoint Magic by Mattel. It is from 1975. If you needed any evidence that needlepoint was super popular in the 70s, Mattel saw fit to make a toy so that young children could try it. I have seen a sew magic, a knit magic, and jewel magic in addition to needlepoint magic. So there's at least 4 different crafts in this magic toy line. And I am so fascinated by this because I can't figure out how. More than the fact that I am incredibly intrigued by the fact that they made a needlepoint toy in the 70s, I also just really don't understand how it's going to work. So I'm really excited to get in here and see just how this is needlepoint. I'm actually a little skeptical. It might not be actual needlepoint, but might just sort of kind of resemble needlepoint. I'm very confused and I can't wait to figure this out. It says that it is quick and easy enough for a 6-year-old. So we're gonna see if I am as smart as a 1975 6-year-old. If you had this, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your memories of this item. So let's crack into it and figure out how to make needlepoint with a toy. First, let's unpack this box and see what we have. Contains needlepoint magic machine, 5 pre-printed pattern sheets, 2 colors of yarn, 2 colors of fabric, clips, eyes, 5 colors of felt, needle threader, fabric tester, plastic needle, buttons, glue, instructions, pillow stuffing, and materials for at-home projects not included. Am I even in frame? I don't know. Turn the crank handle counterclockwise until it stops. Black handle will be facing you. Slip the roller into the carriage and slide it into the machine. Is there a front or back? Does it lock into place in any way? That seems a little loosey-goosey. I don't know. Okay. It moves across kind of like a typewriter. Okay, I'm going to use this fabric that they've already done some on. And just experiment with this. You are ready to put the fabric in the needlepoint machine. Be sure the black handle is facing you. With both hands, rotate and pull out the roller. I don't know why I had to rotate to do that. We wrap the fabric around, snap the clips over it. I feel like I'm gonna pull the fabric apart. Ow. Snap the roller into the carriage. And I'm gonna guess, since it was working like a typewriter, that we want my line up top. Hold the threader in your left hand and put it through the hole in the needle. Slip the yarn into the threader. I'm going to use some of this black mystery acrylic that I've got no other use for while I experiment here. They've got it on that side, so I guess I'll have it on that side. Here is what the needle threader looks like up close. It says Mattel. Leave about 1 inch of yarn through the needle. Only an inch? Okay. Step 8. Start needle pointing here. Turn and slide the roller so that the needle is at the top left-hand corner of the fabric to be needle pointed. To needlepoint the first row, slowly turn the handle clockwise. Be sure to keep yarn slack. After needlepointing the first row, stop the handle when it is facing down. Cut the yarn close to the right side of the needle. Use your safety scissors. Okay, that's it? Okay, well, so we're starting here. Ooh, we are wobbly. Okay. Wait, I have to cut it after every row? Okay. Turn the handle clockwise until it is at the top. Turn it back counterclockwise until it stops. Okay, we are stopped. Turn the roller away from you 1 click and slide back. That was a click? Oh, it pulled it out. It pulled it out though. Okay, well, thread the needle and begin the next row. Continue needle pointing the rows until the area is filled. Let's just do a little bit. Don't pull my yarn out. Okay, there we go. That's in the way. I go up 1 click and I start all over again. So it only goes one direction and that's really annoying. And it pulled it out again. I need to unthread it. And then I go up a click and start all over. This is getting really messy. All right, so the needle pushes it in. This one holds it in while the needle comes out. And then it advances 1 space. The needle pushes it in while that one holds and comes out and goes in the next one. And repeat to the top, back to me, and pull it out. And slide back, 1 click, rethread, and crank. Nope, it didn't. Uh-oh. My second arm wasn't going in. There we go. So, this isn't needlepoint. I think this is punch needle. I haven't actually done punch needling yet. It's on my list. I have the supplies. I just haven't got around to it yet. And so I can't say positively, but yeah, I think this is actually punch needle magic. How long should I keep going? These tails. Is there a way around that? What does it say to do with all the yarn tails? Nothing. You literally don't do anything with the tails? That's it. Like, okay, so it's definitely easy enough. Oh, hang on. Let's go ahead and take it out and have a look at it. Even though there's not much here. Oh. Okay. Well, it looks better from that side for sure. And you can see here where some of them got pulled out. So yeah, that is not needlepoint. Definitely not needlepoint. It doesn't even look like needlepoint. That's all there is. What else do I do with this now? Do I make something? Like, I want to make something, but it's really just more of that. It's got all of the parts in here to glue down. So this doesn't even have any instructions for what to do with all these tails. Like, they just sit there in the back forever, just hanging out. I'm a little confused. So this is easy enough to do, but there's not a lot to do with it. I guess, should I just make one of these projects? I guess I should. I guess I should just do that. I'd really love to make one of these flowers, but I don't think I have the right yarn for it. Let's have a look. Cut the pattern out, put the pattern in the center of your fabric, and put both in the machine. Needlepoint the flower, changing yarn colors to match the petals on the pattern. Remove from the machine and carefully remove pattern from fabric. That's it. Okay. So this is some rest of the owl stuff. I was just curious, like, how do you do these little tiny circles in this? Because that's like 2 stitches. And they are very prone to coming out. At long last, at the very bottom of the last page on the instructions for the pillow, you may wish to use white glue on back of needlepoint to stop stitches from pulling out. Really? So I have gone through all of my stash to find every tiny scrap of random acrylic yarn that I have acquired through unintentional means for the most part. So I can see what I can make this flower with. After much debate, at first I thought I would really love to like do an 80s deco style color scheme here, but I think since this machine is from 1975, we gotta go orange and brown on the yellow. The lovely thing about this, I was worried about not having green for the leaves because I don't have any balls of green yarn, but I do have this bag of scrap green yarn that I don't even, it was in a box of some other stuff. And all of the pieces are little tiny ones like this, which normally is a nuisance, but will be just fine for this. So I'm kind of excited, even though this isn't needlepoint and it's a little bit annoying, I think. I'm gonna test it and we're gonna do a whole project. I'm a little bit excited to have a use for all of my short bits of yarn. So I have traced out the flower and we're gonna give it a go. It said to put the pattern and the fabric on there together. This is gonna crinkle. We're still centered, but we're not straight. And then the clamps, if I can get them on without tearing through anything. Okay. We're doing the circles in this one. I'm gonna cut off the white. I don't want the white. So we've got the top of a circle here and then the points of the leaves. I think I'm gonna try to do the circle and then go back and do the leaves so that I can have one tail over that. No, go in. What? Why does it do that? Something's wrong. There you go. I'm gonna see if this works. I'm gonna back that out. I'm gonna slide this down. Yeah, this is more trouble than I should be going through, but I don't want all those tails. At least whatever mechanism prevents this from going in and holding the yarn in place is apparently the same mechanism used to advance it, but it's still really annoying. Nope. Nope. Oh, come on. Well, there he goes. Goodness sakes. Basically just holding my float up out of the way so it doesn't get re-poked through. Don't like all these tails, man. The tails are obscuring the pattern lines. Why are you jumping back out? Hold. No, you gotta hold the yarn in there. Ding. This is such a hot mess back here. Can't see my pattern. I can't see a thing. And my pattern is like completely shredded through, and I don't know what color I'm supposed to be on right now. The sad thing is I can't take it out and look at it because like I'd never line it up the same again. So I have to do the whole thing or decide not to finish it before I can look at it and see what it looks like. I'm getting a blister. Oh, come on. Why are you doing that? You gotta try. Thank you. Wow. I've never had it fail 3 in a row before. I think I'm not gonna get through this today. That was 45 minutes for this much. I wanna look at it, but I can't. So I went 1 click, but that is quite a gap. Okay, I've got a little bit of a fix, I think, for the not working. If I hold the wheel this way, it seems to be going a little bit better. It doesn't catch every time, but I'm not getting the 5 times in a row not working thing. So something in here is just misaligned. So much for my pattern. I can't actually tell what is supposed to be where because it just shredded, and yes, I used tracing paper instead of the paper that came with it, but I think that was a bad instruction. So I'm gonna be kind of making this up as I go along. I'm almost done though. After hours of work, it's finally time for the moment of truth. It is definitely odd to work on an entire project and not have a clue what's actually going on with its appearance. There we go. Well, that's disappointing. We've definitely got some bits that have popped out, some that aren't in as deeply as they should be, one that's a bit far out. I wonder what happened there. I mean, you know, it's a fun design. It definitely feels 70s, but that... And with the stitches that pop out, they leave such a huge hole. So, how do I feel about this? Well, first of all, it's not needlepoint. Clearly, it is tufting or punch needle or something along that vein. But probably because needlepoint was popular in the 70s, they went with needlepoint. I can't think of a parallel at the moment, but I know there are some where we give things a misnomer just because of that other thing being more popular. It's kind of a dangerous project because it would be so easy to accidentally just pull all your stitches out. And I can't fix it. Like, there's no way to fix it. Like, these tails are out of control. Can't do anything with the tails except glue them. But how do you glue that mess? And then if you glue it, it's gonna be like a hard rock. Yeah, I don't know, man. Could a 6-year-old do this? If the machine was working properly, sure. would a 6-year-old do this? Not this. That was tedious with all the yarn changes and managing the tails. Because if I didn't keep them out of the way, they would have got punched back through. I think this is a project born of rethreading your needle. And nobody likes to rethread their needle. I can say I personally, as a child, would not have done this. I might have tried it. I might have been really excited. And I would have got bored with it. Because, in fact, as an adult, I got bored with it. I really got tired of changing my thread. Could this machine be fun? I think an updated version where, first of all, it would need to be able to go back and forth. Also, this wheel, this part doesn't actually turn. So as a handle, it really doesn't function properly. Like, you can turn it, but you're sliding your fingers instead of, you know, this turning, which it needs to. Of course, plastic parts, they would need to be something better with some weight, because it didn't help that I had to hold it down because it's so light and wiggly. And of course, there's something wrong with it. It's misaligned, or it just doesn't stay lined up properly. So yeah, am I rating this? Is this a gadget? This isn't a gadget, this is a toy, but I would still rate this. Oh goodness, I don't know what I would rate this, because it's interesting. It's fun to have an object that can help you create something. And as a kid, there definitely could be an appeal for that. I just don't think it does a very good job of what it's setting out to do. Primarily because it makes it more labor intensive than it should be. I probably could have actually needlepointed this in half the time, honestly. Not many kids are going to have the attention span for something like this, especially since, oh, that's what I wanted to say before. Because of the delayed gratification involved, like, it's really hard to stay motivated. If I wasn't making this for a video and wanted to show you what a whole thing looked like, I would have just stopped. I really didn't enjoy doing it, and I didn't have any of the gratification as I went along of what it was looking like. I couldn't see where mistakes were occurring, so I could fix them as I went. I didn't even know that mistakes were occurring. And so I think for a kid, the tediousness of having to rethread the needle every time you want to start a new row or change colors, along with the delayed gratification of not being able to see your work until it's completely done. Yeah, I mean, I doubt many kids actually played with this, worked with this for very long. If you did, I would love to hear about it. If you tried it and hated it, or if it actually was great for you, I'd love to know. I'm really curious, because I know that I would have gotten so bored as a kid. And I was into crafting, I didn't do much of it, but I wanted to, and this would not have been it. It's kind of like it needs a couple different ratings. Like, for an adult, you're not going to want to bother, because there's so many other ways, better ways to do it. So what do I rate Needlepoint Magic? If I'm rating it as a gadget, 1 ball of yarn. If I'm rating it as a toy, 1 ball of yarn. If I'm rating it as a concept, I might go up to 3. Like, there's potential here. It's just because it's a toy. I don't know if there's a real life corollary, if there's an actual machine that does the same job. I'm sure there must be, at least on an industrial scale. But I can see how the idea could be fun if it was more automated and fewer thread changes, and just, you know, overall better constructed. I could see that it could be fun to have like an actual machine that does this if it can do a better job. So as a concept, I think I could go up to 3 balls of yarn, but in practice, as a toy, no. Okay, so that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for joining me. Despite the tedium and being bored, I still really loved exploring this object. It's, you know, it's a product of its time, and that's why I love the retro stuff. I love to see what the 70s and 80s were like before my memory really kicks in. I'm a little disappointed the brown yarn is a little stripier than I would have liked. I wanted a variegation, not stripes. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye. They can't see anything, bud.
Hi, you're not the center of attention, are you? I'm trying to make a decision.